Hello everybody, it is another beautiful day and we are in sunny Stamford. Kevin, what do you know?
Well, we're at the Stamford and District Roundtable annual car show here at Stamford Meadows, and what a beautiful setting for a car show. So we're expecting to see a lot of cars today because this is quite a big show. So without further ado, let's have a look. Let's have a look what's here.
Woohoo!
Let's have a look at this van here, Alan. You know it makes sense.
Lovely jubbly.
It's Del Boy's van.
Okay, someone pointed out on one of the car show videos just the other day, I haven't seen a three-wheeler.
Exactly, they mentioned they were disappointed that there wasn't a Reliant three-wheeler. Well, here we've got a lovely Reliant Regal Supervan 3, aka Del and Rodney's van from Only Fools and Horses.
You know, these things, if you went round a corner too fast, it'd fall over on its side.
It would.
You could just get out, push it back onto its wheels and drive off again.
You could. And of course you only needed a motorcycle licence to drive one of these because it only had the three wheels.
And you haven't got to worry about rust either.
But we've even got we've got all the details. We've got the leopard skin interior. We've got the suitcase on the roof there. And then I think if you look in the back, a memorable episode, we've got one of the dolls in the back there. Lovely jubbly.
Or as it said in Brighton, lock up your daughters.
Yeah, that's it. The Jolly Boys outing. Brilliant. New York, Paris, Peckham, and now Stamford.
Excellent. I'll tell you, it's been many, many years since I've seen one of them. Excellent. I'm glad that's here.
Let's put a smile on our face.
Oh, but look at this show.
Well, it's what I expected. This is an epic show. Lots and lots and lots of cars to see of all varieties. So I think we're going to have to just wing it and be a bit selective because I don't think we're going to get around all of them. But I think we'll just have a general cruise down here. We've got some American cars through the gap there I can see. We've got all manner of classics here. Anything
Should we start with the Mini?
anything jumping out to you? The Mini, Alan. Which one?
This
Those-
Mini looks like a
Rover Minis here.
is that 2000?
Oh, it's got the sport pack on it with the flare arches. That's nice.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, evolution of the classic Mini engine, isn't it? This was kind of the final version.
This one's got full body kit on it.
Yeah, it's got the sport pack. That's lovely.
John,
And I have to point out behind us, look, we've got How and Co fish and chips. They come round to my house on a Friday. They deliver door to door, so we'll have some chips later. We're just seeing this very interesting, essentially a mobile vending machine. So tell us all about it.
Yes, exactly what it is. Built by Profry over at Market Deepens, a local company. Hot food vending. Literally, you go up to the machine, where it is turned off at the moment. You just activate it. Either use a credit card, telephone, go up to it, and it activates the door, and then you choose whatever you want. It's all hot food, freshly baked inside, and vend it straight out. So it's just a way of very fast service, no contact between you and the server. So since COVID, we've all had to adapt. That's what we've come up with. It's been in Holland for 25 years. We had it 15 years ago, but we've never had it contactless. So that's the change now, is it's contactless.
Fantastic. What's the name of your company?
Profry Limited over at Deep and St James.
Lovely, thank you. Well, thanks for telling us about it.
Thank you
very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Dukes of Hazzard. One of my favourite TV shows when I was a kid. Boss Hogg, Roscoe.
Oh, wow. Proper Dodge Charger.
Charger, look at that. Wow. Now, the question I've got though, Alan. Do the doors open or do we have to climb through the windows?
I should think the door's actually open on this one. Look at that Holly carburetor.
And what you'll notice, plenty of room to work on these engines. You've got a proper engine bay. It's not shoehorned in like they are today, is it?
Yeah. You can't imagine how a V8 engine looks so simple. Yeah, if that was a V8 of today, it would just be a massive wires and pipes.
Yeah. That's a good replica. So we've seen Del Boy's van, now we've got the General Lee.
Look at that.
And we've got to show this on the back seat there. We've got a crate of moonshine jars. Bit of the old White Lightning. Oh, he's obviously had a run in with Roscoe down the side there. Oh. And screen accurate CNH 320 Hazzard County registration plate. And CV, breaker, crazy CUDA coming at you. Different era, isn't it, Alan, eh?
Yep. Bentley next to it.
That's a Bentley T series, which is just the Bentley equivalent to the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow.
Cobra.
Well, already we've kind of got a bit distracted and lost our way. But that's the thing about these car shows, something will catch your eye across the field. But we are here a little bit early and the cars are still rolling in.
Well, I have to say, we thought we'd get here early. It looks like most of the participants have got here before us.
Yes. A nice Morgan I can see there.
This is absolutely gleaming, isn't it?
Wheels are spotless.
There's spoked wheels. There's not a spot of dust on them.
It's immaculate, isn't it? So that's on a W, so that's around 2000. And that's the good thing about the Morgans, they retain that classic styling. So although it looks very old, it's relatively modern really, isn't it?
Mm.
I don't remember the last time I saw a Panther. Panther Callista Brooklands limited edition, so it says on the number plate. Oh yeah, limited edition of badge just on the bonnet. Unbelievably, they say things are like buses. We've got another Austin Healey Sprite next door. So we've just seen one, there's another one. That's a Mark III, 1964. Very low, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of styling, I've got to say I do love these. Austin A40 Farina. So this was quite a modern departure in terms of styling back in the 60s for Austin. But it was the first car to sort of wear this family front. You can see it's very similar to the Austin Cambridge and the styling that they went with. If you think back to the old Austin A35, which I think it replaced, it was quite a radical shape. Oh, look at Sunbeam here. Look at that, Sunbeam Alpine. Another Morgan. And unbelievably, look at this Morgan. That, you say to someone, how old is that car, without showing them the registration plate, and they would guess years and years and years back. It's 2016.
Oh yeah, you'd never know, would you?
No. Now we're getting to the cars. We've got the old Riley. I can't remember the model. I think it's an RM, something like that. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And then you may, Alan, recognise this pair of Rovers next door, because we saw these at Yaxley Car Show, didn't we?
We did, didn't we?
The one with the RAF heritage.
Yeah.
So you do get to know some of these cars when you visit a lot of local shows. They do reappear. I think that's Old English White.
Oh, right.
Ooh, and then look at this. Jugular Granada. Now that looks to me like that's copper bronze. I can't remember the colour exactly. It's very much like the Sweeney car, isn't it?
Vinyl roof with sunroof as well.
Morning.
Morning.
Are you alright?
Yes, you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good.
What can you tell us about this Granada?
What can I tell you?
Yeah.
I've had it for 20 years.
Wow, 20.
It's was born in Cardiff on the 26th of May 1977. It lived in Cardiff for the first few years, then it was sold to a policeman from Manchester who didn't really use it but kept it in the police garage. So it didn't do any miles or anything really. He had it for a good number of years, then it was sold to a chap near Leeds who was a long distance lorry driver, Continental. So he kept it in his garage, a heated garage, which was connected to his house. Didn't really use it that much, and I got it off him.
Lovely.
And pretty much everything you see is original. It's had a new wing, some repairs to the back wheel arches where it has been hit on a gate post, and a respray, and the rest of it is as you see. The mileage on it's genuine, it's 52,600.
52,600.
And I've had it ever since. It's had the programme of improvements and things ever since. It's been converted to run on unleaded fuel.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything to the engine apart from the cylinder heads, but it's been cleaned up under the bonnet. It's been under the bonnet's been painted and detailed. The underneath is
coated in wax oil.
Oh, lovely.
The back axle was done a few years ago, overhauled, and last winter I had the gearbox out and it's been overhauled as an automatic gearbox specialist.
Fantastic. So I was just about to ask, so 3-litre gear automatic.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm guessing as it's 77, that's probably one of the last Mark 1s before
It
the
is,
Mark
yes.
II came
It's,
out.
the Mark II was introduced to the market in August 1977, but you could get these under the S registration for the last few months.
Yes.
But the spooky thing with this is that it's at a crossover period. It's what they call a Mark 1 Series 2, but it's a Mark 1 Series 2 Plus, if you like, because a lot of the parts on this were used on the Mark 2s. So the steering rack, when I overhauled the steering rack, the parts for it were Mark 2 Series 1 parts. The automatic gearbox is the later version of this Ford C3, which was introduced when the Mark IIs came out. So there's all sorts on it,
mix, yeah.
which is, it's not necessarily straightforward to get parts for.
No. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So is that copper bronze, that colour?
No, it's called satin gold.
Is it?
Yeah.
Satin gold?
Yeah, satin gold. Yeah. The interior woodwork was done by me because it was starting to get a bit tired. But that was done, re-veneered and polished at a place in Warrington. He supplies Rolls and Bentley. So it's a walnut veneer, whereas the original was a matte, just a matte plain grain veneer.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. Everything else is original.
So you've never had the seats retrimmed or anything?
No. Unfortunately, I've been looking for a seat base for quite a while because if you notice, the velour has sort of rubbed off this bit. It's now no longer furry anymore.
It's pretty good shape
But
though, really.
it is, yeah. But I've never been able to find one in all the years I've had it. I've never been able to find a seat base that's actually better than that. And I still keep looking, I still keep trawling the internet and everything, but in the hope I might find one, yeah. Yeah, I will, yes. Sorry.
I've opened it.
Lovely. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no problem at
Thanks
all.
for your time. And,
Yeah.
hope you enjoy the day.
Yeah, we will, yeah.
Thank
We
you.
usually come, so we're looking forward to having a look round. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Cheers. Cheers.
We've got a Mark 1 for 3.
Oh, very nice. 1600 GT.
This is the later, the facelift, the Mark 1.5 as they call it, because the early Mark 1s you would have a separate indicator just there, but then they facelifted it to give you a full headlight and they moved the indicators to just under the bumper. So I think this is about a 1973. 1600, I love seeing these 1600 engines. They're always kind of, I know the enthusiasts favour the 2-litre, but the 1.6 engine is quite a nice little unit, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember the old Pinto engine valve, 4-branch manifold. Stylish little trim
Yeah, the
grills they had.
little vents on the side, yeah, little dummy vents. It's a GT, this one. And I always love the simplicity of these chrome hubcaps. Oh, and we've got the slatted rear window, the optional extra, yeah. It's a big old bus, this one. I've no idea what it is, Alan, have you?
I don't recognise the badge.
It's saying on the windscreen that it is an Austin 20 Mayfair. So there we are.
So this is a beast. This is absolutely huge.
All these flaps on the side that open up. Some lovely running boards there. I think what's thrown me as well is these modern wheels, because that would have had spoked wheels originally, I guess, or wire wheels at least. I imagine that's quite a nice car to have a ride in.
Yeah.
Nice interior.
Oh, here's something a bit special.
Yeah, I think this is your sort of thing, Alan, isn't it? Street rod.
Chopped roof.
I've no idea what that is, but it's definitely modified, isn't it?
It looks nice. You just imagine cruising up and down the Miracle Mile at Great Yarmouth.
Yeah. Yeah, some. So, a bit of Americana. So that's a little Ford. I think it's a Model A that's been chopped, perhaps. And then we've got the 1950s Ford utility pickup. That's certainly an unusual vehicle, not something you'll see every day.
No, I'd say they're proper white wheel tyres.
They are. So it's actually a 49, it says in the windscreen. 1949 coupe utility. Oh, I see. So this was exclusive to the Australian market, so it's been imported from Australia. Imagine that cruising along the outback, can't you?
I like the little Ford
On the
emblems
hubcaps. Yeah, nice little attention to detail, isn't it? And a nice paint finish on that as well. Ford V8 Pilot. They were quite a purposeful car back in their day. As the name suggests, V8 and all the connotations of flying, being a pilot, they absolutely flew, and the police forces loved them. They used those as police cars.
Do you want to give it a hug?
Oh, this one, a little Fiat 500. Yeah, we saw one of these at Yaxley, but not this exact one. It's a nice little yellow one, isn't it? That's certainly well restored, this one, isn't it? That is immaculate.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I have seen them.
Very, very tiny inside.
Still green, is it?
That side pipe.
And then something completely different next door.
Yeah, they're best left.
So this is one of those, I can't remember the name of them, but they're based on a Citroen running gear.
I thought that's it, we're not getting there. We're not getting there. It's never done that before. So.
And again a three-wheeler, this time with the third wheel at the back. Lomax, that's the word, Lomax. That's a proper Mustang, that one, isn't it?
Looking absolutely
1968.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think we'll go for a little walk around.
Yeah, have a look.
There's another Mustang, isn't there? Mach 1, a green one somewhere over there.
There's a road over there.
Oh, is there?
East on the field.
Ah, right, yeah. I know.
So would you like the scrumpy?
I don't know about you, Alan, but the first car that grabs my attention in this row is this Mark II Volkswagen Golf GTI with BBS wheels. I know there'll be a lot of people watching that are into their Volkswagens, and this is lovely. Have to say, I know you can't probably see it on the screen, but the interior is absolutely mint on this car. Amazing striped seats. I have to say, perhaps, Alan, the Mark II is my favourite Golf out of all of them. Which one do you prefer, Mark 1, Mark 2?
I've never been a Golf fan, to be honest with you, but I think I'd go with the Mark 1.
Well, it's funny you mention it, because if we just film over the aisle, we won't walk over, but if we just have a look, we've got a pair of Mark 1 Golfs for comparison, one of which is a GTI. So that is kind of the iconic Golf shape.
We haven't exactly got to look far today to see what we want to see, have
No,
we?
we haven't. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's just something incredible to look at. So I know Alan would like to have a look at this pickup that's behind us, this Dodge. The paintwork is like a mirror on this pickup truck. Oh. Check out that engine. And check out the interior.
Absolutely awesome in there.
That's the important thing, good time.
A lot of work has gone into that one. Immaculate. Black's not an easy colour to keep clean, is it? Austin Westminster, which was the larger brother of the Austin Cambridge. A mini pickup. Got another mini pickup, haven't you?
It's surprising it's actually been kept to this day, because most of these are just rotted out.
Now it's tempting to look at the engine and all the other bits, but let's have a look in the pickup section, because that's what makes these unique. Oh, absolutely mint. And considering that's a mini, you can get a fair old load in the back of that, can't you?
It's mini, isn't it?
It is. It's like it's just rolled out of the factory. Well, I think it's better than it would have been when it left the factory, to be honest.
Oh, it's your favourite.
One of my favourites, and we can actually see inside the slidey door on this one.
That seat looks a bit more modern.
They're modern seats, they're not original Bedford seats. In fact, there wasn't much of a seat in these vans, so that's probably why the owners changed them. But lovely little van, these. Absolutely iconic. And I believe that's a Mark II Bedford CA van. The Mark
it's probably
ones,
around about 68.
well, the early Mark 1s had a split windscreen, so you can tell those. I think the Mark II is this version, and the Mark III had an even bigger windscreen which filled that whole area. Need to have a bit of a chat about this car here, because to me this is a classic car. Not everyone will agree because it's quite modern, but I absolutely love these. This is an MG ZR, and they were basically the MG version of the Rover 25. Rover, of course, went bust 2005, so I love seeing these cars for that very fact. Rover is gone, but there's still these cars around. Trophy blue, 16-inch hairpins alloys. It's got the optional body kit on the side, and the check trim seat.
I always remember him saying when the Rover 200 series first came out, it was, this is the one.
I actually did drive one of these once, and I loved it. It was very firm, held the road well. So this has got the optional pack. Yeah, certainly. Thank you. That's fantastic. What can you tell us about this particular ZR?
2004.
So it's a 2004, so it's one of the last before the facelift.
That's right.
Yeah.
2004, when it was brand new, it was registered by MG Rover.
Was it?
And there was room for them for a while.
Fantastic.
Then it gets a little bit mysterious because we think it must have gone into storage of some sort, because it's had 6 owners and the interior's unmarked.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very unusual to see an interior in that condition, isn't it?
Yeah. And just before I got it, they'd done cam belt, water pump, and everything. And I mean, it's just a little bit of rust on the corner over there, which over the winter will get done. But this is what you see.
So which engine has this one got in it?
1.4.
This is the 1.4, the 105.
Yes.
But is it the Plus model? Because I see
Yes.
you've got electric windows
And the sunroof. Yeah, it's a ZR Plus.
Plus with the 16-inch wheels, because some of them had the optional 17-inch straight alloys, didn't they?
If you look on that website that says how many left,
Yeah.
it says there was 2,500 made and there's 236 on the road.
236
So
left on the
the
road.
mortality rate was pretty serious.
And that's why I really love these, because they are vanishing very quickly, and it's very difficult to find an unmolested version. A lot of them, people messed about, put clear lenses on the lights and things, but to see one like this, how it came out of the factory.
And it holds
Fantastic.
the road as if it's on rails.
Yes, they do.
I think it's
Very
because there's a wheel on each corner.
Yeah,
And
it's a very well handling car, isn't it?
I've come on the road from Derby to Melton, and it's like this, as you know, and I just, you have to slow down because it just goes round the bends.
Yeah. Oh. Not bad for a 1.4, is it? That's a nice
That
little
looks
lump.
very familiar to me. Have you ever had the head gasket go?
Oh, it's done just before I got it. It's been done. It had new pads on the front
Yeah.
and shoes on the back, head gasket, water pump, cam belt done, and a new ignition system done all for this chap who was going to give it to his son for a birthday.
Okay.
But his son was only 15, and then he realised how dangerous that would be because he'd break his neck.
It's potent, yeah.
So he decided to let it go before anything happened to it.
So that's the 1.4K series engine, that is, isn't it?
Yes.
Which, yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, these are the ones with the head bolts that go all the way through the engine.
Do they?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very, very long head bolts.
Ah,
And that was one of the problems because there was warping, wasn't there, took place.
I see. I know there's always head gasket problems associated with these, but once you've had that sorted out, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it's come from Derby and it's just easy run, you know, very easy.
Yeah, so you've made quite a trip today. Quite a
Yes,
few
well,
miles.
we've been a few times to the show.
Have you?
And we normally come with the Derby MG Club.
Okay.
But for some reason or other, nobody wanted to do the journey this year. I don't know why.
Well, I'm glad you made the effort.
Yeah,
It's lovely
well,
to see.
we've got friends who were going to be here, so it was coming up and meeting up with them as well.
And it's a lovely setting here, isn't it?
Well, we've got one of the best because we've actually got a fishing platform to sit
Oh,
on.
brilliant. You timed that well. That
We
was
did,
good parking.
yeah. We did.
Well, lovely to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your
You're very
time.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's the potent one, isn't it?
I think these are the ones with the superchargers on them.
Yes.
So I'm being drawn to this mint green.
Well, I am. A mint green Morris Minor. I've never seen one in that shade before, but it certainly suits it, doesn't it?
It's kind of eye-catching.
This one looks familiar, Alan, doesn't it?
We actually followed this one coming to the show.
We did. We followed it in. Nice RAF Woolies Jeep. Quite nice to see it in the RAF colours instead of the usual army colours, isn't it? Tools on the side. Oh, I'm drawn to this Vauxhall Cresta. This is... Oh, lovely.
Vauxhall PA Cresta.
And
Yeah.
it's really addictive to put them all back.
Now this is something.
Warning, pressurised radiator.
Very, very rare car now.
Yeah, the era of chrome and fins and wraparound windscreens and bench seats. That's a lovely example, isn't it? I'm loving the red and the grey colour scheme. These are quite a popular car to have if you want an open top, reasonably priced classic. MGTF is the way to go.
Clubman.
Oh, Mini Clubman Estate. Shall I say slightly modified, or is that an understatement?
I miss the MG.
I wonder if we're getting a sticker today. You missed the MG?
It's had them headlights.
LED headlights, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's something
But that's the thing,
a
once you've
little
had
bit different under the bonnet by the look of it.
Sorry?
Once you've had a few, it's kind of it.
I've just spotted in the lineup here that there was a Mini 30. So this is the special edition Mini that was made to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Mini in 1989. They only made it in black or metallic red. So this example is black, and you've got your special anniversary badge on the bonnet there. And this example is actually a local car, so it's EG, which is Peterborough registration. I think probably a good point here just to swing the camera around, Alan, show the people how scenic. We've got 4 church spires we can see from here, and that's how built Stamford's all very much on hills, isn't it?
It's a very picturesque town.
It is.
If you like hills.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you look well.
But yeah, you can see how many people here. We've hardly scratched the surface of this show.
No, this is literally the first aisle as you walk in. And I can see some familiar cars and some, wow, look at that cars. There's absolutely everything here. But we're going to make our way further along this road, right down to the end. So we're going to do the full length of the show, and then we'll just try not to miss anything, really.
MG Metro, Kev.
MG Metro 1300. This is the later one with the MG graphics along the sides, but
No, I used to work for Marshall Rover.
you did, yes.
And when these MGs first came out, there was a number of them. We literally had to put the MG emblems onto the doors.
Did you?
Yeah. It was a kit you bought.
So it was a dealer fit.
Yeah,
kit.
dealer fit.
It weren't like fully stable.
So they always look very nice in
Oh,
white.
she's coming this way.
These are typical kind of 80s look. The all white bumpers, the mirrors, the colour coding. And I always loved, little touch, I always loved the red seat belts in these. I thought it was a nice little touch. Yeah, Metro's reached that age now where you think, wow, look at that, because you don't see many Metros now, do you?
When you think about it, it was only 1990. It doesn't seem that long ago.
No.
So when you think about it, it was a long
No.
time.
Yeah, it is.
Subaru.
For a lot of people watching that would like to see these Granadas, this is the Ford Granada Mark 1 and Mark 2 Drivers Guild. So we've got some great examples of Granadas here.
I'll tell you something, that coupe right there, that would have been a very sought after car.
It's certainly got some later or aftermarket wheels on that one, hasn't it? I'm actually drawn to this Mark 2, which is very nicely kept. And that's a 2.8 injection.
That's quite a modern touch one.
I always like the Mark II. I think that's kind of my era. The Mark I was iconic, but I do like the shape of the Mark II Granada. It's got, oh, it's a Gear X. That's the absolute ultimate Granada you can get. 2.8 injection Gear X. It's got a lot of accessories on it as well. I can see it's got the spoiler, the louvered rear windscreen. Okay, I'm going to test you now, Alan. The one next door is not a Granada. What is it?
A Ford Consul.
It's a Consul. Which,
You'd have a keen eye to know the difference.
well, the Consul was more of a kind of entry-level version. The name was dropped after a couple of years production, and then they just all became Granadas. But I love the simplicity of the Consul. I mean, the iconic one, of course, is the Consul GT, which was the sporty one. But this is it's still a 2.5 litre. Let's not belittle it, but it's more of a base spec. But that's lovely. So the styling is very similar to the DB10. The DB10 never made production. It was made exclusively for the James Bond film Spectre, and they made about 10 examples for that film of the DB10, and then they went straight into DB11 production. Well, this is hell of a machine, this is, isn't it? How much do you think that costs?
I would have absolutely no idea. A lot of money, I should imagine.
Well, we've also got a lot of money parked next door, because we've got a McLaren here.
Not a single seater though.
No. I don't even know what model McLaren this is. I'm not fully up to speed with my modern McLarens, but it's a lovely colour, burnt orange. Carbon fibre mirrors. And you can bet they are actual carbon fibre, they're not just imitation, are they?
Oh yeah, they'll be the real thing.
Yeah. Vents, serious vents in the side there.
Oh, there's a cinema. Like the mate.
Which one would you rather have then, Alan? The McLaren or the Aston Martin?
Oh, it's a tough one actually. I think the Aston Martin would just tip it.
Yeah, I think so. But that McLaren is lovely. I am quite drawn to that
I
actually.
wouldn't even know which one would be the fastest out of the two.
No, a race between those two would be interesting, wouldn't it? So this is a GT6 Mark III, and it's had a pretty thorough restoration. Looking at the pictures down there.
Although there was quite a fair few cars in here when
Yeah, we walk past all these cars and we don't really think about how much work
How much work
people actually. Yeah.
I love this little
These are classic shape. Very popular.
Yeah. Yes, I could say it is.
So just as a comparison, Alan, this is the GT6 Spitfire, which was the hardtop coupe, and then next to it we've got the actual Spitfire 1500 Roadster. So this is a very late example. This is on an X plate, so it's 1981 registration. And I do love, simple little touch, but I love how they just had that sticker with Spitfire 1500 on them. I think it's...
Yeah, it kind of makes it.
It does. But yeah, not a bad car actually, the Spitfire. Not bad at all. Then we've got a TR6.
You're just subscribing this because people don't like unless they make them too
And then, we were looking at one earlier, we've got another 2500 Pi Triumph on the end. So we've seen two of these today, and it's for sale.
Oh, around about 11 grand.
Seems reasonable in today's market, doesn't it? British Leyland badge on the wing.
Yep. It's worth every penny as much as what someone's prepared to pay for it.
Absolutely. So even walking around this, especially at the back, the styling on these cars really was something. Lovely styling.
Well, we've just stumbled upon the American section, and look at this one.
1956 Chevrolet Bel Air.
To roll this into the driving movie.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn out.
Well, these American cars, these epitomise the wraparound windscreen. They started all that trend, and you can see where the British cars kind of copied that at the time. And if you want to see some chrome, just look at the front of that.
That is sparkling.
That hood ornament is a masterpiece in itself, isn't it? It's like having a little model of Concorde on your bonnet, isn't it?
Somehow I don't think that would be allowed today.
No, not very pedestrian friendly.
I think this one is in need of a wash.
Yeah, but it's nice, it's not lost in. But it is could use a wash. I'm just a bit taken back by this Mustang Mach 1.
Try not to open your. Well, our mate Digger, he was driving home from
Now you can tell by this time the Mustang had grown in size. It's got a lot bigger. But these are very cool cars.
There's a lot of people's dreams to have one of these.
That looks like a manual, that one, doesn't it?
It does, it looks like it's got a stick shift. Well, the Americans call it
They
stick
do.
shift.
Yeah. And then next door, another iconic name from the United States, a Chevrolet Camaro Z28, or perhaps they say Z28. But yeah, very, that's a 73 with the stripes. Of course, it was always very similar styling to the Pontiac Firebird, because they were kind of brother or sister cars, whichever way you look at it. Same family, just slightly different styling. So now we're hitting the modern Mustangs and Corvettes. And I recognise a few of these Mustangs. I think we've seen them at shows before, like Yaxley, and I think some of these even may have come along to the TC Harrison meet that we did. I certainly recognise the registration number of this blue one, and I remember the black one as well.
It's certainly got some fancy LED lights.
Yeah, colour changing ones. Now that's the later shape that was launched in 87, 88, yeah, it's on an E-Reg. I think they came out of that 88. So this is the later generation. But curiously, it's got the earlier Turbo Esprit decals on the front, but very low car. And we can actually see the engine. So I believe this one was styled by a gentleman called Peter Stevens, who sort of refreshed the look of the early Esprits, which was Giugiaro styled. Certainly very iconic British sports car, aren't they? I don't even know if sports car does them justice. They're kind of more supercar territory, really. I did sit in one of these ones. I haven't driven one, but I did sit in one, and it wasn't the easiest thing to get in and out of, I have to say.
No, it doesn't look like it. A bit of a struggle to get in and out. Once you're in, you're in.
But I do love a Lotus Esprit. I suppose it's the James Bond connection, but I think they're a great looking car. I know they're not the most reliable of vehicles to own. You need a lot of, I think you need deep pockets to own one, but they are nice, lovely. We've got a Noble. I think that's fair to say that's a green machine. Great number plate as well. UFO.
Now it's sports and classics, there's Noble.
Westwood job.
Noble. Oh no. Impressive spoiler on it.
Yeah, well, it's a shout.
Not so much a spoiler, that's more of a wing, I think, isn't it? It's got a Momo racing steering wheel. It looks more like something you'd expect to have in a gaming chair, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all those buttons. So you can actually see the engine through the back window.
I think the number plate's probably a very accurate description. I bet that absolutely flies.
It also creates a vacuum behind gurney. Yeah, gurney flat, similar sort of principle. It adds about 8% of the front downforce.
Oh, it's our little mate. Here he is.
We've come across this car a number of times now. Is that Charmander?
That's Charmander. We saw him at TC Harrison, we saw him at Yaxley. Here he is today. Now this is a very good question. You probably won't hear me say this too often, but I have no idea what this car is. According to the note in the windscreen, it's a Gardner Douglas. I've never heard of a Gardner Douglas, have you?
Nope.
No idea what that is.
It could well be a kit car, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
12 plate.
Ah, it must be. It kind of looks like a classic Porsche kind of shape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now this one here, Alan, you may remember on the journey in, this one overtook us and I wondered if it was coming to this show. So this is a Vauxhall Corsa VXR Nürburgring edition. And it's finished in lime green pearlescent paint. And these were quite a potent car. A little Nürburgring badge on it there. A couple of exhausts and a splitter on the back.
Yeah, I bet this is a handful.
Yeah. It is cool. I believe this is actually a replica of a Lamborghini Countach. We've got a little signpost behind it, which hopefully some of you will get the little joke. There was a film called Cannonball Run. In the sequel, Cannonball Run 2, starring Burt Reynolds, there was a speed limit 55 sign in America. One of these red Lamborghinis pulled up next to the sign, and I think it was actually Catherine Bach, who used to play Daisy Duke in the Dukes of Hazzard, jumped out and painted a 1 on the sign or stuck something over it to say speed limit 155. So that's something to look up on YouTube for anyone who's interested. Okay, so we've got Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis, but I'm going back to the blue oval. This is where my interest lies, and probably yours as well, Alan. So we've got Ford Fiesta ST. Quite a thing at the time. Who would have ever thought they would put a 2-litre engine in a Ford Fiesta?
It seems a bit crazy, doesn't it?
It does today, in this day and age of EcoBoost engines. So I think the latest ST, you've only got a 1.5 in it, but these were a 2-litre. And going back even further, we've got a Fiesta RS 1800, so that was quite a thing for the day. 1.8. It's a local car again. Radiant red, that's a well looked after example, isn't it?
Vauxhall engine, that kit car.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a common thing to have a Vauxhall engine in a kit car, but it seems unusual to me.
They normally go for the Ford engine.
They do.
Pinto all VTEC.
Now as you walk along these car shows, you're always drawn to certain cars, and for me, I'm drawn to this Jaguar, the Series 3. I think these were probably the most iconic version of this Jaguar XJ6. I really like the styling on the Series 3. 1984. That's kind of the shape you think of when you think of the Jaguar, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Don't wish to be biased, but now we come to what I call a proper Porsche. Porsche Carrera.
Well, this is the classic shape, isn't it?
It is the classic 911. Set of Fouche wheels on there. I do like these early Carreras and turbos. I know this was kind of the second generation, but these are the ones for me. We're seeing a lot of cars today that remind us of TV programmes, aren't we, and films. This was anyone who watched The Professionals, the first series before they got their Ford Capris, Doyle drove a blue TR7 just like this one. Very unusual shape for Triumph. It was quite a radical departure, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then a scimitar, a little scimitar, Reliant.
I've got a classic car business. I've got 2 customers.
Hard to believe the company that made Del Boy's van made this as well.
It's got a Dolomite Sprint engine in it.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, DeLorean, DMC-12. Another iconic 80s car, and look at the finish. You can really, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but you can really see that brushed finish, can't you? And they had a Renault engine, I believe, powered by a Renault. So I think you're probably familiar with this one here, Alan.
Oh yes.
ST TDCi.
Most definitely. This is the quicker one.
Now I think, am I right in saying that's been painted to match the body? I don't think they came in that colour, did they?
No, I would have presumed they would have come in black. Well, I couldn't be 100% sure on that.
You've done quite a bit of work on one of these, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
I think you replaced the subframe bushes and bits and pieces, didn't you? All underneath.
The one I actually worked on was the petrol version, V6. This is just the 4-cylinder.
That's the diesel. But 155 PS, 2.2 litre.
Yeah.
So it was the potent diesel. Yeah. Not that the others are not potent, but that was the...
Well, these diesel engines, they are incredibly fast.
They are. And this one will take you back. This is a trip down memory lane for you, Alan.
Yes.
Morris Marina.
I've owned at least 3 Morris Marinas in my time. The most famous one was the snot green colour.
You've got to love these old British Leyland cars now, haven't you? Very scarce to see one in this condition, isn't it?
Oh, this one's absolutely mint. I'll just point out the windscreen wiper motor.
Yeah.
There's a cable that runs from that motor, which is like halfway under the bonnet, through to the wipers. And it's like a worm gear sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if the cable breaks, you've got to take the whole cable out bit by bit and then feed in a new cable.
Try and feed it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the easiest to fix. That's the 1.8, that one. Old Unipart stickers on the components, yeah, brilliant.
This is definitely a very, very nice example.
But this is quite interesting. I'm just going to read a few of these things here. So factory fitted optional extras. So remember, this was a different time. Metallic paint finish, yep, that's still an optional extra today if you buy a new car. But we've got laminated windscreen, which was actually a factory fitted option, and then dealer fitted optional extras, a radio and an aerial, a front passenger door mirror, mud flaps, mats, boot mounted spare wheel padded cover, and a lock-in fuel filler cap. So different era, isn't it? Escort RS Turbo. And I love pointing out on these, this grille on the Ford Escort RS Turbo was taken from the Ford Orion. So Ford raided their parts bin just to give it more of a unique look at the front, so they put an Orion grille on it. And now another name you don't see quite so often, Saab.
Let me just check out what year this one is, because I think this is a 900 turbo or something. Oh, it is as well, Saab 900 turbo.
Yeah. And it says C, so it's around about 85, I guess.
You notice a familiar part on one of these cars. All the auxiliary belts are at the back of the engine, down by where the clutch would be.
Yeah.
I think the actual clutch is at the front. If I'm right.
It looks very busy engine. It looks quite a handful if you've got to do anything to it.
Another Mini.
Another Mini. And that's got Marshall Peterborough number plates on there. And unbelievably, not just one, but two Daimler Majestic limousines. These are quite an imposing car, aren't they?
They're certainly big enough.
Imagine people of some importance riding around in those in the 60s, can't you? Okay, this is curious. We've got an old comma pickup truck here, and somebody's put a sign on the front that says "Look inside."
I was going to wrap all this, but
That's different.
Is
Is that a Mercedes engine?
It is.
Well, hell of a conversion.
I've spent so much time and money, blood, sweat and tears,
I have to say, it looks absolutely lethal, doesn't it?
I'm just seeking rewards. And the first show I took it to this year, I won a prize.
Yeah.
80 quid car detailing bundle. So I thought,
Yeah.
it's done something.
Now this looks ever so familiar as well.
Yes, this is the Ford Escort RS2000 that we saw at the TC Harrison show last year. And there's Keith, the owner, over there. Hi Keith, you alright? So we can actually see under the bonnet today, because I think he had the bonnet closed at the TCH event.
Yeah, he did.
So he's got the original 2-litre Pinto in that one.
On that particular show we covered, I actually used this one as the thumbnail.
You did? I believe he told us it's had 13 owners, didn't he? Citroen 2CV. I don't think we've seen one of these at the shows we've covered so far.
No. And once again, these used to be quite a popular car.
They did. A little 2-cylinder engine. I remember in the 80s there was a lot of them around, in mostly in different two-tone colour schemes. And they've got, of course, the roof folds back all the way. That actually looks quite nice inside, not a bad place to sit at all. It's for sale. Now that's for sale for £9,500, fully restored. That's lovely, but I have to say, I love this more basic spec. The yellowy orange next door. Perhaps because it matches my top today. Blend in with it. It's a 1.6 LS in merino yellow, 1976.
Dinner break.
Special shout out to How & Co for the sausage and chips. Fantastic.
It is pretty nice, especially when you're walking round in circles for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There is so much here, I don't think we're going to be able to cover it. But there is a special thing going on later on. There's going to be some planes fly overhead.
There's going to be a fly past by the Battle of Britain Memorial flight, so not sure what type of plane it will be, but we're looking forward to seeing that, so hopefully we'll catch it on video.
Now I've not seen one of these since Noah's Ark was built.
Bedford, is it a Bedford Midi or a Rascal, or what did they call them?
I think it was a Midi. It could be a Rascal.
It's a Danbury conversion.
Oh, it is a Rascal.
It's a Rascal, yeah. And it's a local plate as well.
Very small van, but
and it's actually a camper van, this one. It's got a Danbury. I can see it's had a bit of a paint job, and it's just covered the Danbury sticker. Someone's painted over the sticker, but yeah. Little Bedford Rascal.
You can kind of see the comparison from this to the Volkswagen camper van next to it.
In size, it dwarfs it, doesn't it? Jaguar XK and then the Aston Martin DB7, and they were, at the time, Ford owned Jaguar and Aston Martin, so I think I might be right in saying they were built on the same platform and they were very similar in their styling. It's got a nice V8 in this one, Alan.
I would say that's got some kind of gas conversion on it.
But looking at, yeah, it's got an LPG label on that side there, so it has been converted to LPG. So that's got the V8, and if we flip the camera around by comparison, the Aston Martin has a V12.
Is it an original colour or?
But from a photogenic point of view, these new engines, they don't compare to the old ones we've been looking at, do they?
There's not much to really
Not
see,
much
is
to
there?
see, just big covers. Well, this one's got the little dicky seat on the back there. Fancy sitting on that?
No, I don't.
That would be, I imagine that would be quite hairy sitting on the back of that, wouldn't it? Tanking along.
There's not a lot of shape to that engine.
Wow, that's a solid lump, isn't it? The cranking handle at the front.
Singer, it always reminds me of sewing machines.
Yeah. It's another name that's disappeared, isn't it? Another classic British make. That's actually a 1928, it says in the window there, so that is going back. Lost in pickup, so this is not 100% sure if it's a 30 or a 35, but it's a, I'll guess a conversion. I don't believe they made these in the factory, I could be wrong.
Well, this is what I told her.
Very cool, I like that.
Oh, cool, that's good.
There's an old name from the past, Morris Cowley.
Cowley was the factory.
Yes. I think that's what it was named after. Paul knows.
Cowley's in Oxford.
Paul knows Morris Cowley, so it's also called the Paul knows Morris, yeah. And just want to point out, in the construction of these cars, how much of it was actually wooden. Got some more wood round there, under the windscreen. And you've got to remember a different time, you'd have people in a factory, actually craftsmen, making this stuff. It wasn't mass produced. Everyone would be making the parts for these. Look at the leaf spring suspension under there.
Yeah, I mean the whole body would have been practically made of wood, the whole frame.
Yeah. Oh, this is lovely. This little Austin.
I said it's warm enough today anyway, so I'll stay. We'll take it back, which finishes about 4 o'clock.
It's a 1934 Austin Arrow Sports foursome.
You got no visitors this weekend then?
Lovely.
Oh yeah. Television on channel boy. On the normal.
We've got another singer there. And a Jaguar XK140. I think that's fair to say that is what you call a bonnet.
That's cool.
So these were launched, I think, around about 1982, may have been a little bit earlier, when the XJS range were given a bit of a makeover. It was the first XJS convertible. It had the kind of target top with the bar, but the later convertible was just completely flat, no side windows. Oh no, it's for sale. Series 3.
£60,000 for a type Jag. And I'm definitely liking this.
I think this would suit you, Alan. You've got the practicality of your pickup truck and your big American car cruising capability. So an El Camino, Chevrolet El Camino pickup truck.
And then it was sort of like not very long later. It's down a couple of exits in it went off.
And a lot of people will love this car next to it.
Yeah, me included.
He was actually
Drive up this one, Pontiac Trans Am.
Yeah, I had it.
Probably like mine, but you look at the door gauges, are they known for not working?
Yeah, underneath there.
Firebird on the bonnet. That's what you've got to have, haven't you? Got to have that Firebird logo.
These were the days before the insurance went through the roof.
Yes, and then shortly afterwards it went berserk, didn't it?
This is what I call a dining room on wheels.
Yeah, that is, it's a Lincoln Continental from the 70s. Absolutely massive, aren't they? I think when they designed these cars in the 70s, they used a lot of rulers to get straight lines, don't you think?
Probably. I do like it.
And what's cool about it, what I like, is the flip-up headlamp covers. So when you're stationary, you've got your headlamps covered, and then of course they flip open.
So we go from this Yank tank to...
Oh, we've got two very interesting cars here. This is a Wolseley Hornet Crayford convertible, but it was actually a prize in a competition by Heinz, as was the Metro next to it. So these are both Heinz competition prize-winning cars. So Crayford were a company that used to convert cars and make convertibles. This is one of them. Tells you a little bit about here. The composition was in 1966 by Heinz Soups, and they made 57 of these convertibles because, of course, Heinz 57. So there were 57 of these made by Crayford to give away as competition prizes. And the Metro,
Oh, it's a Rover Metro.
it's a Rover Metro, and they all had, again for Heinz 57, they all had H57 registrations and then 3 different letters. 57 of these for prizes, I believe. You've got the 57 logo on the wheel trims and on the lower side of the body. Yeah, 1991. Even tells you there, so each car came with a Heinz Atlas and a first aid kit. And they were fitted with these Rover spot lamps as well. Sunbeam Alpine. Absolutely beautiful, that is.
Up on the roof of the camera, because when you're reversing, you've got a bird's eye view of the camera in it. It's still been empty on my pocket.
Classic Volkswagen camper.
It's quite nice inside. It's
got the kitchen sink, little stove, fridge,
Popped up roof, yeah, it's quite
bench
cosy.
seat. I presume that folds back down into a bed. Possibly.
Looks like it. Yeah, very cosy.
High
Nice.
top. Of course, these had the engines in the rear.
They did. Cool pair of Volkswagen chairs. The owners have got here as well.
Oh yeah. Giving you cup holders.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the seat actually folds forward and then you'd lay flat on the bed there.
I can't walk past this one. This is lovely. Mustang.
Mustang with a vinyl roof. It's quite cool having that roof because it gives you the impression it's a convertible, but it's actually a hard top with a vinyl roof. And there we can see what's going on under the bonnet. I've got to mention this Peugeot 205 simply because I learned to drive in one of these cars. And it was red, same colour red. This is a 205 Junior. So, it certainly brings it back. I remember I always had trouble getting second gear when I was learning, and my instructor had the same problem with some of the other people he was teaching at the time, so he took the spring out of the gearbox and swapped it around, and it made it a lot easier to get into second gear. This Escort Cabriolet has caught my eye. It seems an unusual spec because it hasn't got body colour bumpers on it, so it's quite a low spec. It's in burgundy red, which was a solid colour. Oh, I say it's a lowly spec, it's actually a gear. Another Mini. If you like Minis, this is a good show to come to. There's so many Minis here today.
Capri.
Ford Capri 2.8 injection with a nice little number plate there. That's a nod to the Professionals TV series CI5, which was the organisation they worked for in the show. So yeah, 2.8 injection. Okay, some more Minis. Ah, this Mini's interesting. This blue one, it says Speedwell on the bonnet, so I wonder if that's had the Speedwell conversion.
Yes, it should have been. Yeah, nowadays you can buy the whole shelf. Yeah, oh yeah.
But in terms of iconic, this white one is taking me back. It's absolutely spotless. This is more your, I don't know if it's a HL or whatever model they called it at the time, but it's 1980. So that's the kind of era of Mini that I grew up with.
Yeah, that's right.
Opel Manta GTE. When did you last see one of these?
Probably about 30 years ago.
These were quite a performance car back in the day, weren't they?
Did you see the old bottom jaw drop?
And then we have another Escort RS Turbo. Oh, and look at this Triumph. This is really unusual. This has got the Keep GT. This was bodywork carried out by the Bond company, I believe. So it's a Bond Keep GT based on a Triumph Herald. So you can see the Triumph Herald influences, but it was restyled by the Bond company. Very rare car.
It's Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiesta Mark II.
It's got a Z-Tech engine.
Z-Tech conversion. It's got the old Pepper Pot XR2 alloys on it, which have been powder coated black. I wonder what that started life as. Probably a little 1.1 or something. Oh, and a Maserati next to us. Golf Mark II. That's unusual wheels.
Look at this condition.
Was this the car that was at the TC Harrison?
I believe it was. I believe it's the same one. Not often you see one of these, is it?
No.
Signal orange, Ford Escort RS 2000. Judging by the replica tax disc in the window, I'm guessing that's 1979. Right, Alan, let me ask you a question. Do you know what type of car this is?
Judging by the badge, it looks Welsh, but I have no idea.
It's called a Gilburn Invader. I'm not going to go on about it because the man who owns this car, David, is standing next to me, so he's going to tell us all about it. Hi,
hello.
David, over to you.
Gilburn is part, two names of the people that own the company. A Welsh master butcher and an ex-prisoner of war, German prisoner of war engineer. They started up the company with out of the back end of a butcher's shop, come abattoir, in Church Village in Pontypridd, Wales.
Well, it's certainly very interesting.
It's a space frame body with a fiberglass body on top, chassis on top.
Oh.
Mainly Ford engine and gearbox, MGC back axle and front suspension.
So this has got the Ford Essex 3 litre V6 engine in it, which
In nice condition. So this is the type of engine you'd find in a Mark 1 Granada.
And you'd find it in the Ford Capri as well, yes. In the 3 litre S Capri.
In the chassis.
So we know it certainly goes well.
Up for sale as well.
David?
Gilburn's built 1,000 cars in total throughout the range. This particular model, which is the Mark 1 Invader, they built 78.
78.
And at the moment, at the last count, there was 14.
Oh yeah, there you go. So I know, I don't really give any secrets away, but I know you actually own 2 of these cars, don't you?
I do.
You've got a blue one as well, and I see that this silver one is for sale.
Sorry mate.
Yeah.
So you've decided to just stick with the
I'm
blue
starting to find it hard work through old age.
Oh, that's a shame, but you've certainly looked after it.
It's been done seven years now.
Has it?
Yeah.
It looks a very...
And the blue one's been done 11, been on 12.
Lovely.
It's a real cruiser because at 70 mile an hour you're only doing about 2,500 revs.
Yeah.
It's quiet and it's comfortable.
I take it this would have an overdrive on it.
Yeah, 4-speed overdrive. Some people have started modifying them, putting 5-speed boxes in.
Yes, but you've kept it original.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
The only thing that from the original is the wiring. I did my own wiring for it. A few more fuses than 3.
Yeah.
That they were standard.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Showman's living van, 1947.
I have to give this one a mention because we were talking earlier about the amount of work that goes into restoring cars, but anyone who's seen the TC Harrison video we made last year will know this car has never been restored. It's still wearing factory paint. That's the paint that it left the factory with. All totally original, completely original, and very, very low mileage. I think it's on about 14,000 miles now. Two-litre gear, Mark IV, vinyl roof again.
Am I safe?
Yeah.
Am I safe to go in front?
Yeah. Don't worry about me. Another very extremely rare car here.
Yeah, this is a Holden, which is an Australian make, so it's a Holden Maloo. They were actually marketed in this country as the Vauxhall Monaro VXR Maloo. It's essentially a pickup, or as an Australian would say, a ute, utility vehicle with one hell of an engine in it.
It's very flashy.
Holden is a name that's now sadly vanished. They no longer exist, but very well known make of vehicle in Australia.
You see the sticker? I just want one.
Yeah. They are a cool piece of kit, aren't they?
You like Morgans?
We don't see many, to be honest with you.
Horrible to drive because they're wood, ash floor, ash framed. This is a horrible thing, lethal. If you want to die quick or insure the wife, just take her out in this and roll it over. Honey, you must be wearing a crash helmet.
Well, it can't be easy about single wheel at the back.
Are you from that classic car paper? Because they don't know what they're on about. They need somebody like me. The rubbish they talk in that paper. I never buy it. I stand in Tesco and read it free now. I used to buy it every week. The rubbish they talk, they don't know nothing about classic cars. Nothing. Terrible. Yeah.
I suppose
Well, you had a good day going round.
Oh yeah,
filming
we're waiting for the airplanes to come over.
Oh, good. We had that the other year. The fly past, that was good.
Yes, that's it, yeah. Well, that's it. They made these first, didn't they? And the other two.
Phew! Do you know what? We've been walking around all flipping day. We've been up and down all these beautiful cars.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely knackered now.
Yeah, me too. Worn out. Absolutely worn out. But what a day. And to top it all, the fly past by that Avro Lancaster from the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Oh, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake. I apologise if it's not great on the video, but it kind of come over the trees and took us by surprise.
Caught us unawares. We didn't know which way it was going to come from, but it was just, there it was.
So we're kind of like... But anyway, what a fantastic day. The sun has been shining, the weather's beautiful. Absolutely loved it. And I hope you all enjoy this video. We tried to get as many cars in as we possibly could. Sorry about the cars leaving, it was just gridlock, so we couldn't get many cars in motion because we like to get them going past and rev their engines as they go, but there was just gridlock out there as all the cars are trying to filter out. But despite that, it's been a fantastic day, and once again we hope you all enjoy this video. So, any last words, Kevin?
Well, I have to ask the question, Alan, out of all the cars we've seen today, did you have a favourite?
Oh yeah! I totally forgot that one. I'm going to go with, I don't care the condition wasn't great, I'm going with the Dodge Charger, the General Lee. Sorry, but I love that General Lee. Kevin, what is your favourite car?
Well, it's a very difficult choice once again, but I loved seeing Del Boy's three-wheel van. That was a good start to the day. I'm with you on the General Lee, that was absolutely amazing. But if we're taking the TV and film kind of connection out of the equation and I'm just going to pick a normal car, then I'm going to have to go, I'm a bit biased, but I'm going to have to go with that little trophy blue MG ZR. It was lovely to see one in such original condition, and special shout out to the owner. He travelled all the way from Derbyshire today to be here, so he wins my prize. MG ZR.
Winner. Okay, I guess that's it then. So thank you everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
We'll see you all in the next one.
So until the next time,
see ya.